Hello guys, how are you doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night to some of you who are just about to go to bed. My name is Winfred. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, for subscribing. Today I'm just going to be making no oven bread. It is very simple with a few ingredients. You will love it, and it takes a shorter time compared to the time normally bread takes. So join me and see the ingredients that I'm going to use to make that easy no oven bread. Now with me here is about 3 tablespoons of sugar. I've got some 14 grams of yeast, and then I've got a teaspoon of salt, 800 grams of flour, some water. This oil comes in much later, just to, as you'll see. And I've got a clean bowl, a spatula, some cling film, and a pan that is going to help me. So this kind of bread can be made on a charcoal stove. It can be made on top of your cooker. So go ahead and try making it with me. I've also got some 400 mils of water. And right away we'll start by getting lukewarm water, guys. I say lukewarm because if it is hot water, your yeast will die and it won't be able to rise and give you bread. Yeast works very well with sugar, so I'll go ahead and put sugar and the yeast. This is warm water, lukewarm water, guys, where you put your finger, and if it doesn't get burnt, that's good. It will help your yeast grow. It will be able to proof your bread very well. So one way of knowing whether your yeast is okay or it's already died, by mixing it, and if you see any bubbles, then your yeast is good. But if you don't see bubbles, you know that your yeast has died, and you have to throw that away and get another yeast. So straight away I'll put my flour. This is 800 grams of flour. I've already sifted it, and I'm going to put my salt as well, a teaspoon of salt, and then I'll go ahead and mix. Bread, guys, there's no escape. You've got to use your hands. So at some point I'm going to have to dig in and do the mixing until the dough is together and not sticking to my hands. Guys, you need until you see it still stop sticking on you and the bowl is clean, and then you go ahead and sprinkle some oil, a little bit of oil. You can use maybe 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon of oil depending on your measurements. Now my bread is going to be a bit bigger because my servings are more, but if yours are less, go ahead and just use half of the ingredients. You'll be able to get what I have. Now all I'm doing is smearing over my dough so that it can be able to rise or be proofed. So I'm smoothening it, and I'm going to cover it for now for about an hour so that it can be proofed. Now I'm covering. This is just for proofing. You cover and then put in a dark place for an hour. Now I'm going to put mine in the oven because the oven is one dark place I can trust. Will keep my bread and help it rise quickly. Or once you see it has doubled in size, you don't have to wait for an hour, depending on the type of yeast that you have got. I'll let it sit for now. As you can see, our bread has been proofed. It has doubled in size. Now time for me to take it out and work it up again, and then keep it another 30 minutes covered. Now the reason I'm kneading in the bowl is because I sprayed some oil over the dough, and I need to press and let the dough absorb all that oil in the bowl so that the bowl is dry and clean. Remember, we didn't use any oil kneading and in the mixing of the bread, so the oil that is in the bowl has to be absorbed by the bread. And once that is done, then we can go ahead and press it more until all air pockets are out. This is more like a flat bread, but guys, it's delicious. You can enjoy this with margarine, or you can enjoy it with butter. You can have sandwiches with it. It will be tasty. Now, as you can see, the oil is dry and the bowl is really dry. So my work area is clean. I'm just going to put my dough, knead it a bit, just to press out air pockets. And then I will divide it into two. And then I'll cover. You'll see what we'll do with it later. Now our dough is ready. I'm just going to divide it into two. So if your servings are few, it will be one dough. It won't be two like I do. As you can see, mine is big, simply because I made a little bit more because of my servings. Now time for me to pull out my pan and brush it with a bit of oil. I'm brushing it with oil simply because I'm going to proof it a second time. And because I'm proofing it a second time, I need to oil the pan so that my dough doesn't stick. Now because I have two breads that I'm going to deal with, I'll oil this one as well. Now this is the first dough. I'll put it in here and then I'll cover it. This is to proof it a second time and get it to rise and take shape at the same time. And I'll do the same to this one. Put it in there. Remember, it's not oven baked, so all this will help our bread come out better. Now I'm going to cover and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Then we'll check on it later. Now the bread has been covered for 30 minutes. I'm going to transfer it somewhere else. Then I'll be able to work with it because this is no oven bread, guys. It has spilled, but that's okay. Now I'm going to put the pan on fire and then we can get cooking. Now I'm going to mold it like this because when I get to the pan, I'm going to spread it out. So I'll leave it like this. I'll just spread it out when I get to the pan. Now my pan is on fire. I've put a bit of oil. You can see how I've done it. Now on low heat, all I've just done is brushed my pan with oil and heated it up a bit. Now I'm going to transfer the bread. And what I'm going to do is just spread it out to the shape of the pan. And then I'm going to cover it for 25 minutes on low heat, guys, if you don't want it to burn. Now guys, time to check. After 10 minutes on low heat, we are flipping. See how it looks? Now I need to brush the tray again. I need to first move it and then brush the tray with oil for side B to also get on and bake. So on low heat, you cook it for about 20 minutes, depending on your heat, but it should be low heat, between 20 and 25 minutes. So I'll cover and let it cook again. Now the 10 minutes on the other side are up. I'm going to flip and check, see how our bread is doing. As you can see, it is ready. I'll take off the heat and I'll show you how I'll cool it and then serve. Now guys, the no oven bread is ready. It's the flat type. See how it looks on the sides? It's ready, and remember I made 2 lots, so this is the second one. Now I'm going to slice this up and show you how you can still go ahead, enjoy the same bread and butter it at the same time. The thing is, it's still hot. You wait for it to cool so that you can be able to work with it. This is how the bread looks. I'm going to slice it up in the middle. It is hot, guys, and I'm going to put my margarine in there. If you want to do sandwich, you can go ahead and sandwich it, or you can go ahead and just enjoy with butter or margarine or jam. It will be very tasty. Now because it's hot, my bread is melting right away, but otherwise this is how I would serve my no oven bread. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for telling friends. Until next time, bye bye and God bless.